last year. You can tap the equity with this fast, easy program and keep your main loan intact. So call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Also go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, for folks heading home or heading wherever it is you may be on your way to and you have no idea who I am or what's going on, I'm typically with you 6 to 8, okay? So this is early for me. I had to get up early today, but I'm still just absolutely ready to go. And we're jam-packed here over the next 3 hours. Rick Ballou alongside Agent Gibbs. All right. Jacksonville has been very fortunate this year when it comes to health. You know, they lost their starting left guard early in Ben Barch. They lost one of their corners in Shaq Griffin. And unfortunately for Shaq, he remains the highest paid player on this roster. Shaq's done 3 things since he's been in town. He's eaten, he's gone to the bathroom, and he hasn't been able to cover anyone defensively. Man got paid, and he's out of here, right? As a matter of fact, Doug Peterson was asked about him today, and you could just kind of tell, yeah, we'll take our chances with that. Darius Williams has been fantastic. You know, since they moved him from the inside to the outside, he's been targeted 12 times. He's only allowed 2 catches for 22 yards. He has 4 pass breakups. What took so long? I mean, he struggled at nickel, right? And they scratched Trey Herndon for a few. They tried Buster Brown. They tried all sorts of different combinations. Now, all of a sudden, you got Williams on the other side playing some pretty good football. All right. Big blows as of late. You know, your left side of the offensive line has been ripped apart. Cam Robinson gone. We know that. Thankfully, it's only a meniscus. It's not a tear or a torn ACL at least, which could be, you know, set you back for a year. And obviously, Cam did tear an ACL years ago. The problem with his meniscus, and I know he had surgery last week, that is the different knee, for those of you who are wondering. And, you lose DeJuan Smoot, who to me this year became more than just a role player, more than just a snap count guy. His play was increasing by the week. He was getting more and more snaps. I remember at one point this year, I want to say 29 snaps was his high. But they just kept, rolling him in. And, in a perfect world, I would have liked to have been able to see maybe a little bit more if you had a healthy Trayvon Walker with him possibly, going inside and then trusting either DeJuan Smoot or Arden Key on one edge opposite Josh Allen. You're not going to be afforded that opportunity now with Smoot. As far as Trayvon Walker, I'll get there in just one moment. But the point I'm trying to make is if you just look around the NFL and you look at teams that are heading to the playoffs or who still have a shot to go to the playoffs, there are injuries all over the place. Jacksonville, now it's catching up with them a little bit. That's, in my world, that's 3.5 starters, right? Left tackle, left guard, starting corner, and DeJuan Smoot in his role. That's 3.5 starters. So that probably ends up being right around the average for playoff teams, even though it feels like for Jacksonville, most of those did come late. So the big question all week was, what do you do in this game? Because it's very bizarre where winning or losing doesn't have a huge factor at Houston. There's a lot of people out there that believe Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Trayvon Walker, et cetera, Jawan Taylor's had a bad hamstring. Don't play him. Doug Peterson was asked about that today.
Not at all. Full steam ahead. AFC South opponent, great opponent. Again, team that beat us in week 5 and just focused on, putting a good week of preparation in.
We're all armchair quarterbacks, and unfortunately, we're never wrong, right? So if someone does go down this weekend, it's going to be a whole bunch of, oh, I told you so. Oh, yeah, you never should have played him. I mentioned this last night on my show. I was blown away by the response from Jaguar fans. Almost every single one of them was play him. I don't know if it's personal because fantasy league or this and that, or if it's just the way that you feel. You can't play scared, and you can't play at half speed. Any coach will tell you at any level that most injuries do happen when you are not going full speed. And I know that can be a little bit misleading because when you get injured during a game, okay, those are always at full speed. But you see a lot of stuff that happens on the practice field when guys go down. It's the exact opposite of that. I have mixed feelings here. I do. I wouldn't mind seeing Trevor and Travis get some early burn here, but I'm also one of those guys that's like, get him out. Seriously. I mean, let him at least have to take a shower after the game. Let him get out there and play, a half or whatever. But I know that is there's a little bit of sissy in me, a little bit of the coward of the county here, little Kenny Rogers, where I'm kind of turning the other cheek, and I'm trying to talk my way out of a fist fight. I mean, I know the real men out there, the meat and potato eaters are like, Blue, shut up. Go out there and play them and just have at it. Okay. But you can't have it. But actually, you can have it both ways because you're a fan. But if you're playing that role today and you're pounding your chest and you go in the bar right now and you say, give me Maker's Mark neat. Okay, none of that rock stuff. No, I'm a man. I want it neat. Don't call me next week with the, I told you never should have played him type of stance, because that's what worries me most. I'd take Trevor out. I would take Travis out. What are you doing, Gibby? You playing him? You going 60 minutes with him? Or you sitting him down at some point?
I'm getting a lead and I'm getting him out. That's what I'm doing.
All right, what if they don't get a lead? They've lost 9 in a row to Houston.
Then I'm just going to play him, let him get a break a sweat a little bit, and then I'm pulling him out because of course you would like to break the awful streak that you haven't won 9 in a row, but that streak really, in all essence, doesn't matter. Next week is what matters. So I'm playing him a little bit, but I'm not at all playing him the whole way.
Trevor Lawrence is a tough guy. Travis Etienne is a tough guy. Etienne lost his rookie season, but I sat with Dabo Sweeney and talked with them both again this year, as I do every year in Charlotte at the Atlantic Coast Conference meetings. Travis Etienne missed no time, at Clemson. He's taken a lot of hits this year. They obviously try to reduce his carries later in the season. I'm going to get away from this. It's a little bit of a talking point, and it should be a talking point. For the record, isn't it kind of cool to have something like this instead of, hey, how many days until free agency? Hey,
mock
how
drafts.
Many days until the NFL draft? I mean, we're talking about relevant scenarios here in town. And the reason why I say this is look at Lamar Jackson. Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at Tua. Look at the starting quarterbacks across the NFL. They're going down time and again and time and again. And, I want to credit this offensive line. They've allowed only 2 sacks in the last 2 weeks against dominant defensive teams. Micah Parsons had 12 pressures. He beat Brandon Sheriff on that stunt, right? From the left defensive end position. He came down the line of scrimmage, past Taylor, past Sheriff, and cut up right there, the A-gap, and had a sack. Quinnen Williams, who we didn't know if he was going to play last Thursday night with the New York Jets, had that early sack where he really bull rushed Tyler Shatley and got by him. That's it. I mean, you've allowed 2 sacks. And Trevor Lawrence, with all the wonderful things that he has done, all the key throws that he has made, I think lost in this, at least somewhat, has been his pocket presence, his ability to literally have eyes in the back of his head and know that it's now time to escape the pocket. That one throw he made a few weeks ago to Jamal Agnew is probably one that won't be on his highlight reel, season-ending highlight reel. But to me, it was arguably the best play of the day. The way that he moved up in that pocket and the way that he was forced from the right side to the left side, okay, threw across his body, pinpoint accuracy to Agnew on the sideline. I mean, there's only a few guys in the world who can make a pass like that. So we've seen that with Trevor. And we're seeing, outside of the fumble, okay, and this is why I'd fire Mike McCarthy. This is why I'd fire Kellen Moore. I went off on the beginning of the show about Nate Hackett and how gutless he was in the AFC Championship game in 2017. Lawrence fumbled that ball with 1:43 to go. All Dallas had to do was pick up 1 first down. Predictable run on first down, predictable run on second down. Jaguars call a timeout. Jaguars call a second timeout. What do you do on third down? Well, you're going to call a run, right? Make Jacksonville use that third timeout, or you're going to try to at least approach the sticks, throw a 10, 11-yard route, try to pick up a first. They throw it 40 yards downfield. Fireable for me. Unforgivable and fireable. I sound like an angry gambler, but that's the way that I would be if I was in Dallas. Look at what Trevor's done. He came back in that situation, got the field goal, and then, of course, Jenkins won it in OT with the pick 6. But if you look at what Lawrence has been able to do with his escapability, his knowledge of finding the first down marker and then getting out of bounds, with the exception of that huge fumble, okay, been absolutely just a pleasure to watch. And the reason why I raise that is it's like being half pregnant, right? That's impossible. You can't say to Trevor Lawrence, okay, go out there and play, but don't tuck and run. Or have that clock that goes off in your head just over 2 seconds, get rid of the football. I don't think you can do that, especially when you're playing as well as this team is. It's got to be the same old, same old. Do what you have always done through high school, college, and now with his remarkable improvement in year 2 as a starting quarterback. I don't think you can change your style or change the offensive philosophy. It's easily said, but I don't believe you play that way. So just something to consider. But, I'm looking on the text line right now. It's amazing. Just about all of you are like, play them. Play them all, and we'll see. For the record, I would try to get him out as early as I could, Trevor and Travis. And I'm also going to tell you this. Trayvon Walker hasn't played in 2 weeks, all right? I'm not bringing him back either. I'm giving him 1 extra week. And I realize they're down a defensive lineman with DeJuan Smoot. They called Ledbetter up today. Ledbetter actually deserved a half sack. The full sack went to Devon Hamilton, but I thought Ledbetter did a real nice job gaining a little bit of push there through the interior of the defensive line. I'm saving Walker for Tennessee and then hosting a playoff game here a week later. Again, that's just my opinion. You are more than happy, or you, by all means, we are more than happy to hear from you in your opinion. Best way to do so is 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. All right, a ton more on the Jaguars. Let's take a little break and bring in some Florida State talk. My goodness, the Cheez-It Bowl. I mean, you talk about just, being a young buck, being a young kid, and your dreams year after year after year. They're all about someday playing and winning a Cheez-It Bowl. And that is exactly what is at stake for Florida State tomorrow in Orlando against Oklahoma. Let's head to Orlando. Brendan Sonnone. He covers the beat for Florida State, Noles 24/7. He goes into the night next with Rick Ballou.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with J-A-G?
Yeah, you know me.
Who's down with J-A-G?
The Bold City.
1010XL, proud flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This month, the Key Buick GMC received 4.59% up to 72 months on Buick Enclave, Envision, Encore, and Encore GX. The stunning Buick Envision is here, and it's been named the best luxury compact SUV by Consumer Reports, and Key has them in stock now. Key Buick GMC, where every new Buick comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty and no dealer markups. We are professional grade. Visit us today, Key Buick GMC, on the corner of Southside and Gate.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar & Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar & Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Our Showtime Collecting Club has become one of the more popular aspects of our establishment. It's an annual membership for kids ages 5 to 17. There are many perks to joining our collecting club, like packs on your birthday and rewards for good report cards. Collecting Club at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason Stanley Pools is a family tradition of fine swimming pools. It's locally owned and run by the Stanley family since 1988. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build and renovate our pool, and they do a fantastic job of maintaining it. I've recommended Stanley Pools for years for pool construction, repairs, maintenance, and renovation. Call Stanley Pools at 269-7277 today to transform your backyard. That's Stanley Pools, 269-7277.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a place to park? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to TIAA Bank Field is on the JTA Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 4 convenient locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage on the South Bank. Tickets start at just $10 and are available exclusively on the Token Transit mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
This month is the perfect time to make sure your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof evaluation with Universal Roof and Contracting. You may qualify for 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months on your roof repair project, plus a free warranty upgrade for first responders and veterans. This offer expires December 31st and restrictions apply. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars defensive end DeJuan Smoot suffered a torn Achilles in Thursday's win against the Jets. On Monday, the Jaguars put Smoot on season-ending injured reserve. Smoot was tied with Josh Allen with 5 sacks to lead the team. This morning, Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson was asked how you replace DeJuan Smoot.
Caleb will get more time. Obviously, Josh Arden, we get Trayvon back, optimistic of that. So we've got those 4 guys and they're going to have to, fill that role.
The Jaguars go to Houston on Sunday. Kickoff at 1 o'clock right here on 1010XL. I'm Andrew Gibson with your JOI Jaguars update.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
All right, much more coming up on the Jaguars. Also, we're going to continue our look at the National Championship semifinals. That, of course, will be Saturday night. Tim Brando's coming up in about 40 minutes to join us to talk about both those games. Good to finally see here in town the Jaguars added some Seminole blood. Today they signed Garrison Sanborn, a longtime long snapper. So he is the backup now at that particular position, and he is on the practice squad. Tomorrow at 5:30, it is Florida State, Oklahoma. Both these teams have been off for quite some time. Let's bring in Brendan Sonnone. Does a great job covering the Noles as the beat writer for Noles 24/7, and he joins Rick Ballou. Brendan, always a pleasure. How are you?
Rick, thanks for having me. You can never have too many long snappers, right? Look at the Jags loading up for a playoff run.
Yeah.
Long snapper after long snapper.
Yeah. I think they need a little bit more help as far as tackle and, defensive interior linemen, but they went out today and added the deep snapper. So, anyway, Garrison Sanborn now here in town. All right, give us the latest now. My understanding is that as of right now, no opt-outs for this game tomorrow for Florida State.
No, yeah, Florida State, a testament to culture, I think, is a good way to look at it. And guys wanting to play for Mike Norvell, no one is going to sit out just to sit out. If anyone is going to sit out, I think it would be injury related or something like that. But no one's going to sit out to skip a bowl game, which is pretty cool. Like this, it's a testament to culture, which I know sounds sappy, but like it's true. Like guys want to go out on the right note. If they are going to go out, they're going to end their FSU careers. They want to end it with an exclamation point because this is a place that the program hasn't been in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the chance to get that 10th game, I think the coaching staff has done a really, really good job of selling. Like, hey, win number 10, is meaningful. It means something on the recruiting trail. It'll mean something to you guys to say you played a role in getting us back to being a double-digit win team. So, yeah, man, it's cool. It's a nice side note to this game. You can never know what's going to happen in bowl games with motivation or whatnot, but, that's a nice part of this game and potentially a treat for FSU fans kind of at the end of the tunnel here.
Jared Verse has to make an NFL decision. Jamie Robinson, I'm really under the impression that he is leaving, but those two are going to play. What about Fabian Lovett here? I've kind of heard conflicting reports that he hasn't been at practice. He doesn't know if for sure he's going to go. What's the latest there?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Fabian Lovett. I'm heading down to Orlando as we speak, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure if he was able to go today or not. Someone who pushed himself at the end of the year to be available for the Final Five contest after dealing with the foot injury he suffered against LSU in the second game of the year. Someone who played a lot of snaps against Florida and the time to rest, I think, beneficial to him. But yeah, I think it'll be kind of a TBD whether he'll be a guy who goes against Oklahoma or not, as far as like whether he's going to come back. I keep hearing different things at different times, and I don't think there's a definitive decision that has been reached yet. I am with you. I think Jamie Robinson probably ends up going pro. He was legitimately thinking about returning to Florida State, and I think right now I'd put my money on Jared Verse coming back. So going 1 of 3 for those guys would be really good. If you somehow manage to go 2 of 3 and get Fabian Lovett back, like, all right, we'll start telling ourselves a lot of lies this offseason in Florida State, man.
Well, I tell you what, and Brendan Sonnone, our guest, on his way to Orlando tomorrow at 5:30, Florida State will take on Oklahoma, who has been a massive thorn in their side really forever. You got to go back to here, the 1965 Gator Bowl, the last time Florida State beat Oklahoma. I mean, guys returning, Jordan Travis, Trey Benson, especially at that position where, the feeling has always been you can only take so many hits at running back. Go ahead, get out, get paid. But for them to return, what has the feeling been like there with leadership? And I know you touched upon it at the top, but the willingness to want to come back and play under Mike Norvell.
It is. So it starts at the top with Mike Norvell. Like it again, and I know, like, I don't want to sound like, we're doing PR for Mike Norvell here. There have been areas to be critical in the past, but like this is even when things weren't going well last season, when FSU started off 0-4, like Mike Norvell was the same guy every single day, to the point where, like, I had heard Rick, like, people in the office were freaked out. Like, he was not panicked. He was just the same high energy guy every single day, and he brings that to practice. He coaches really hard, maybe even too hard sometimes, to like where like players wish it was a little easier at practice. But I think what that builds over a long period of time is like this level. We use buy-in so often in sports, but like it is a real thing. Like if you are believing in the person you're following, if someone is leading from the front and leading effectively and hitting the right buttons, like we've all worked for good bosses before. I like to think we've all probably worked for like bad bosses that we don't resonate with, and some people just you resonate with in a way that makes you want to be your best. And so when players see Mike Norvell coaching the way he coaches every day, the way he cares about messaging consistently, just being himself all the time, like that trickles down. And so you have guys on the team who then follow and lead by example. Like to watch Jared Verse or Dennis Briggs or some of the other veterans on the defensive line, whether they're Robert Cooper, whether they are playing 30 to 40 snaps a game or 20, 15 snaps a game.
Yeah. Like
these guys, to watch them lead teammates and see them like pull younger players aside in practice, be like, this wasn't the right way to do this. This pass, like it's almost like a pass rush. To have this level of engagement and buy-in, like it has gone from being a coach having to pull players along type of deal to now it's player-led program, and they follow in the lead of their coach. So like it's legitimate, it's real, it's very tangible, and I believe we'll see. It's hard to predict the future, Rick, but like I think it's sustainable too, and that'll show up in the bowl game here, I think.
Knowing this team the way that you do, how do you weigh rest to rust? I mean, they get 15 practices in, but you watch these bowl games and you can just tell that some of these teams are not ready mentally. I mean, and they haven't been to a bowl in a few years, so I know it's somewhat of an unfair question, but what's your opinion there?
It is so hard for me to predict on what's going to happen for a bowl game of any sort. Like, I used to do the bowl pick'em things, and I was so bad at it. And I'm decent, like, a week-to-week thinking of what's going to happen. But, like, as far as, like, the bowl game stuff, I'm so bad at it. And because it's so hard to judge motivation. And, like, who's going to be engaged, and then, what's Russ going to do, like you said, to a certain team, and what are you playing for? And it will say is, like, watching the team practice before Christmas, I really like the way they practice. And I usually do. Like, you can usually tell where the team is based on how they practice, and especially the last part of the year. Like, they were super dialed in. This past week before Christmas, like, they were having fun. They seemed nice and relaxed and loose. and yet still like about the work, which is always Mike Norvell's thing. But they were having fun. If there was a mess up, you pull someone to the side, they talk about it, but like you can tell like this was their reward for them at the end of the season. And even like, you know, my colleagues have been covering the guys during the bowl game, like the festivities, like they went to a fun spot or something like that. And there were times where we covered Jimbo Fisher teams where guys were just kind of complaining about having to be at the bowl games and complaining about the events, not want to be at the events. The guys have soaked this all in and enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
Like they're like legitimately having fun. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but like I do think that portends to good things happening. Like I do think guys are going to take this bowl game seriously, and you know, as long as you don't have a bunch of turnovers and stuff like that, you should be a really competitive team and probably the better team against Oklahoma, which has a bunch of injuries and guys opting out.
Last one for you, Brendan Sonnone, our guest, joining us from Knowles 24/7. He is Florida State's beat writer. Obviously, they win this game, they win 10 games. They end up being ranked in the top 10. I think they begin 2023 when the polls come out ranked in the top 10. We get all that. However, do these kids, are they even aware of the history? I know it's been, 11 years since these two schools have played, but, I mean, Orange Bowl losses, a national title loss in 2000. Is that something that you can even approach with these kids, or are they just way too young to even understand it?
It's almost too long ago for me to even, like, I'm 34 years old and grew up watching Florida State and loving the Florida State, all the state rivals but Florida State was at the core of all of them, obviously, and really admiring that growing up in Orlando. And yeah, like I remember like the disappointment of the national championship game against Oklahoma. I certainly remember watching. Again, it was Kenny Shaw getting laid out against Oklahoma in 2011. Kenny Shaw went to my high school. And that was scary to watch. Like so I remember like the significance of those games. But yeah, I think those are so. This staff has done such a good job, man, of getting guys to focus on week to week and not worry about storylines and just handling their business and like. Yeah, I don't think that the idea of like what Oklahoma has been, you described it well, like a thorn in FSU's side. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of fitting if they gave FSU a fight here tomorrow. But no, I think this team is so focused on getting that 10th win, what it would mean, and the point that Mike Norvell always makes, like it's about us, and that's like that team does feel that way. Like if FSU handles its business, almost any team in the country they can hang with, if not beat. And so I think that's kind of the approach. I think that's going to be what the approach is tomorrow. It's like, hey, you just handle your business, you do what you're supposed to do, and yeah, then win number 10 happens, and a special season happens, and a catalyst for potentially really special stuff in the future is in front of you. Like this isn't a team that really looks back. It's not a coaching staff that looks back. So my inclination is no, they're not spending a ton of time of what Oklahoma has meant to the FSU program, for good or bad, in the past.
Guys my age and older, and gals too, they certainly know what it's all about, but it's tough to look at an 18 to 20-year-old and expect them to think the exact same way. Brendan, appreciate it as always. Happy New Year to you. Thank you.
Happy New Year, you too, Rick. Thank you.
There he goes. Brendan Sonnone covers Florida State's beat for Knowles 24/7. Yeah, I've always said this. I've always done radio through what I believe the fans care about. And, you know, I bet you there's a lot of guys on this Jaguars team who have been told this week that you've lost 9 straight to Houston, and they're probably like, well, who cares? I've only been here for 1 of those games, or I've only been here for 3 of those games. You know, I'm trying to win the game. I'm not worried about a streak. But you as a fan base, you're like, 9 in a row is too many. It's the same thing with Florida State, Oklahoma. I mean, you remember those Orange Bowls in, 79, 80, and 81, where you had a chance to beat Oklahoma and J.C. Watts both years. And honestly, if you go back and watch those games, some very questionable play calling by the legend Bobby Bowden in those games. And then the abomination in 2000. You know, a team that was scoring more than 45 points a game can't score. They were totally on the banquet circuit. Snoop Minnis flunks out of school. I see Snoop. He's in Orlando. He's chopping it up. He's all this. I'm like, bro, you cost Florida State a national title. I don't know why they'd even allow you on the damn sideline for crying out. Oh, time heals everything, right? wrong. I don't care if it's been 22 years. Your selfishness by not going to school cost my alma mater a freaking national title. I'm not letting you on my sideline. And then you saw what happened in 2010 and 2011, home and away. So, yeah, people like me are like, wait a minute, I'd rather play the Kansas City Chiefs than the Oklahoma Sooners. But there's a lot of problems right now in Soonerland, so we'll see. And we'll all know tomorrow at 5:30 when toe meets leather. More college football in about 25 minutes with Tim Brando. With Timmy B, we're going to take a look at the semifinals coming up on Saturday and the right to play for the national championship. In the meantime, let's get back to the NFL. More on the Jaguars. Best way to join us is on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. That number is 641-1010.
He's Johnny O and always in the know.
I know, right?
And when it comes to the Jags, he knows a lot. Oh, knows. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This holiday season, give the gift everyone wants. Bono's gift cards and Bono's barbecue sauce. Frank Frangie here. Now, you've heard me talk about Bono's mouth-watering barbecue for years. I recommend giving Bono's gift cards to family, friends, and clients for the holidays. And don't forget the sauce. The original sauce started it all back in 1949, plus their smoking pit hot, sweet, and tangy, or my favorite, hickory red. Go to bonosbarbecue.com. That's Bonos, BARBQ.com today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Baloo here for Shinatri Chiropractic, the breakdown of the body. Stop fighting it. Visit Shinatri Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of JU Athletics. Back and neck pain, arms, legs giving you problems. Get an effective diagnosis and treatment with an adjustment or dry needling. How about acupuncture, which I love because it works? Get rid of your pain and tension. Call 743-6700 or visit them at 2711 University Boulevard, Shinatri Chiropractic.
Frank Frangie here for Nimnik Chevrolet, Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. With nearly 150 Silverados on the lot and shipments arriving daily, you'll find the perfect truck at Nimnik Chevrolet because they have the largest selection of Silverados in town. Nimnik Chevrolet is one of the highest volume Silverado dealers in Florida because they're committed to providing the largest selection of trucks with the best price guarantee. Located at the corner of Park Street and Cassett Avenue, or NimnikChevy.com. Nimnik Chevrolet is proud to be a 5-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient. Chevy, find new roads.
The Ronald McDonald House Charities of Jacksonville invite you to deck the doors. Become a beacon of hope and encouragement for the many families of sick children who are staying at Ronald McDonald House this holiday season. For every $10 light bulb sold, it will be hung around the bedroom door to provide comfort and let families know that they're not alone. Individuals, corporations, community groups, and schools are all invited. Help the Ronald McDonald House. Sign up today at rmhcjacksonville.org. Proudly supported by American Electrical.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's never a good time for car trouble. Frank Frangie here. Big Chief Tire is the ultimate shop for fair prices and quality you can trust. For 4 generations, they have provided the Jacksonville community with quality tires, repairs, wheel alignment, lift and leveling kits, and more. And for a limited time only, schedule brake or rotor services today to receive up to $150 off $600 or more. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today. Big Chief Tire, we keep Jacks rolling.
Your pipes are leaking, don't get nervous. Fa la 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 la. Call Roll and Reach for same-day service. Fa la 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 la. He guarantees your satisfaction. Fa la 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 la. Call Roland and he'll spring into action. Fa la 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 la. This holiday season, if you have a leak and can't wait a week, dial 904-260-7059. And from the Roll and Reach family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Bob Arablo here, president of your Jacksonville Iceman. Thanks to the doctors and staff at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, our team is well taken care of. We're proud to be associated with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists is ready to help you too. We'd like to thank the coaches and schools who trust in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
If your hair is thinning and you're looking for an easy solution that will restore your hair, check out IHRS PRP Platelet-Rich Plasma. PRP, using your own platelets and cells to restore your hair where it's thinning. Combined with their FDA-approved laser hair therapy and pharmaceutical-grade products, all three will deliver one better result. Call IHRS now for a free evaluation and to find out if their PRP 45-minute treatment will work for you. Now there is a solution for any man or woman with any degree of hair loss, and it's all in one place. Call 904-777-IHRS. IHRS has been restoring hair for over 30 years. The staff at IHRS knows what it's like to lose their hair, and that's why they're ready to help you grow your hair back.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
To be our best selves, we need to take care of our whole self. That includes your spirit, mind, and your body. At the First Coast YMCA, our members find balance in spirit, mind, and body with unlimited group exercise classes, adult sports leagues, health coaching, and programs designed for chronic disease prevention. And if you join the Y now, you'll pay nothing until February. Discover all the benefits of a Y membership and find your Y at fcymca.org.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. UCF and Duke are playing in the Military Bowl right now on 1010 AM in the 1010 AM stream. Duke leads 23-7 against UCF, less than 10 minutes to go in the third quarter in the Military Bowl. 13th ranked Florida State will play Oklahoma in the Cheez-It Bowl tomorrow evening in Orlando. Mike Norvell and the Noles going for a 10-win season. Kickoff tomorrow, 5:30 on ESPN. The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is coming up on Friday here in Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field. It's 19th ranked South Carolina against 21st ranked Notre Dame. A top 25 matchup here in Jacksonville. Kickoff is Friday at 3:30. You can hear the broadcast right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. 62 degrees at 4:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, a little bit of money coming in today on the Jaguars. Yesterday, it fell the way of the Texans. It had gone from -4.5 to 4. Today, back out to -4 in a hook. We'll check in with the Philly Rooster in 1 hour. We'll take a look at Florida State, Oklahoma tomorrow. We'll take a look at the semifinals to be played on Saturday, and we'll take a look at the Jaguars on Sunday. Of course, they are trying to snap that 9-game losing streak in Houston. The text line, people are going nuts. Ballou, the 0294, would you rather finish 7-10 or 9-8? Well, I'd rather finish at 9-8, right? I think most of us would. And well, if you sit Trevor, you won't end up at 9-8. Well, how do we go 7-10? So you're just automatically assuming that if they lose to Houston, they're going to lose to Tennessee. I don't agree with that. But anyway, some others on me saying, Ballou, for crying out loud, if you remember the 1979 Orange Bowl between Florida State and Oklahoma, only old, and I can't use the word, remember that. Well, that's true. I had no recollection of that game. I saw it years ago. It was on like Classic. How do you think Classic's on anymore? Didn't that kind of run its way out? I think ESPN Classic is gone. But anyway, it was a few years ago. I saw it. Yeah, I didn't get to Florida State till 87. So, those games there in 79, 80 meant absolutely nothing to me. All right, Tim Brando is up in about 15 minutes. Let me give you this. Every year I do it. I hate to do it, but I think it's worthy as we wrap up the year. That is remembering those that we lost, right? And in 2022, my goodness, some major names in the world of sports passed. Dan Reeves, Don Maynard, okay? Jeremy Giambi, unbelievable. You know, he was obviously a steroid. He was a poster boy for steroids. But what an untimely death. And they don't have the ages here, but I got to guess Jeremy Giambi, I got to guess he's younger than me. He's got to be in his late 40s, right? Scott Hall, one of my all-time. He was 47?
Yeah, 47.
Scott Hall, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, right? Major problems with drugs and what have you, but when he was part of the New World Order, what you have here, how about when Hulk came out and he goes, you better tell, hey, Mean Gene, if these people want to hear from me, you better tell them all to shut up. And it was at the Bass at the Beach when they turned on the late Macho Man, right? And it was the Hulkster. Came out wearing the yellow banana hammock, and they were playing that Hollywood song. And all of a sudden, he turned heel. But he had Hall and Nash, and that was violent. And that was a beautiful time of wrestling. Scott Hall has got our friend John Clayton. What a blow.
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh, I mean, honestly, one of the nicest human beings in this profession that you will ever meet. And John was one of the few who was actually, when he worked with the Seattle Seahawks radio network, would be covering the opponent. So there were a couple of games, including the one with the fight in the stands.
Yep.
Here 5 years ago, where Clayton was on our side, and he was the best. I mean, I'd be like 10 feet away from him, and he'd be like texting me, hey, do you have anything on whether or not whether or not Avery Jones is going to be able to return? Did you have the latest on AJ Cann? I saw him limping a little. I mean, John Clayton was just an unbelievable human being.
I remember that week he came into our studio and did his show.
Yeah.
He did his Seattle show from our station, and came on in the afternoon with Frank for a segment. He was salt to the earth, no doubt.
Who I can't even think of his name right now, but I went on the NFL, Sirius NFL Network with John Clayton, and he's now coaching in one of these newly formed leagues, and he was the former offensive coordinator for Cleveland and Kansas City, and he actually coached golf here at UNF. And his name is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it right now. But during the interview with him and Clayton at the very end, I called him out for it.
Todd Haley.
Todd Haley.
Yeah, I actually didn't Google that. I just thought of it.
Todd Haley, yes. And I'm like, yeah, we're out here in Duval, and Coach, I was just wondering if you're going to come back here and if you can come back here and teach me how to golf. And he was totally startled. He had no idea that I even knew that. Yeah, Todd Haley started as a golf coach here at UNF before his success in the NFL. But, man, rest in peace, John Clayton. Dwayne Haskins, what an awful story that was, crossing the highway. My goodness. Mike Bossy, you talk about putting the puck in the net. The New York Islanders won 4 straight Stanley Cups. Bossy had 9 consecutive 50-goal seasons. And with Clark Gillies and Brian Trottier and Dennis Potvin and Chico Resch and Billy Smith, man, the Islanders were a monster. He went way too soon. Guy Lafleur passed. My goodness, man. Growing up as a Canadian hater, this guy destroyed the Boston Bruins when he took that slap shot right over the blue line and blew it by Gilles Gilbert. He had 5 Stanley Cups, did Guy Lafleur. 6 straight 50-goal seasons and 100-point seasons. He passed. Bob Lanier. I remember being a kid, they always had a picture of his shoe. It was like the biggest shoe in the NBA, the Hall of Famer. He passed. Marion Barber passed. There's another guy, must have been, 36, 37, 38? Man, I remember watching him in Minnesota on Saturday before he went off to the Dallas Cowboys. He passed. Jalen Ferguson, remember that? Cocaine and fentanyl. Stay away from the fentanyl, boys and girls. Okay, I don't care how high it gets you. It kills people. Repeat after me. Fentanyl kills people. Stay away from it. Tony Siragusa. Damn. He went. Bill Russell. I mean, this guy won 11 NBA titles in 12 years? He's like the greatest team player in the history of team athletics. All Bill Russell did was win. And he passed. Vin Scully, what a major blow. Man, I want to say that I don't do it as much anymore, but late night just laying in bed, reading, leaving Dodgers late night West Coast games on, just listening to Vin Scully was an absolute total pleasure. Len Dawson passed, the Hall of Fame. Ernie Schaefer's, man. Remember back during the wild world of sports days, before Don King, before you had to pay for boxing, and you had all those heavyweights, like you had Ken Norton, and you had George Foreman, and Joe Frazier, and Muhammad Ali. No one hit harder than Ernie Schaefer's. Maury Wills, at the time, the greatest base stealer until Lou Brock and then Ricky Henderson passed him by. Bruce Sutter. Didn't really hear an awful lot about him after baseball, but a true fireman. You know, the guy would come in and pitch, he'd give you an out in the 7th, or he'd give you an out or two in the 8th. And, of course, pitch the 9th. Charlie Trippy passed. Vince Dooley. 201, 77, and 10 at Georgia. I'm so happy you got to see Georgia finally win another national title after 41 years. Ray Guy, the greatest punter in the history of the game. Fred Hickman out of Atlanta. My gosh, what an outstanding broadcaster Fred Hickman was. Sports Center has turned into such a joke, such a charade. I miss the old CNN with Bob Lorenz and the late Fran Charles and Fred Hickman and Vince Cellini and all those guys. Who were some of the others? I'm Jerome Jaranovich. Remember that guy?
Absolutely. He did a lot of work in Atlanta.
Oh, man. Atlanta, that was such a good product. But it just went away. Borg Salming, the defenseman in Toronto, a third member of the NHL Hall of Fame. Who died? Gaylord Perry. Grant Wall just left us like 3 weeks ago, covering the World Cup. Paul Silas, former Celtic great and coach. Mike Leach. And just the other day, Franco Harris passed. A couple of other notables that I want to mention. I just look at three actors who were phenomenal in mob movies. Ray Liotta. And say what you want about Ray Liotta, who is such a great character actor, but he's the main piece in Goodfellas. It's narrated through Henry Hill, who Ray Liotta plays. Even though you have Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, it was Ray Liotta's story. And he nailed it. Paul Sorvino was in the movie with him. I mean, he almost made you feel like if you go to prison and you with some Goodfellas, man, they're going to ship in the steaks and the lobsters and the women and everything else, Anyway, let's eat. Sorvino was great. James Caan, man, the made-for-TV movie Brian's Son, where he played Brian Piccolo. And, of course, one of Marlon Brando's sons in The Godfather when he played Sonny Corleone. James Caan passed. Kirstie Alley just died recently. Meatloaf died. Taylor Hawkins died. Olivia Newton-John died. And recently, we lost the great Christine McVie. Absolutely adore her. So underrated with Fleetwood Mac. But one of the greatest artists, I think, female artists of all time. Her former bandmate, Stevie Nicks, is the only two-time recipient of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, her solo work and with Fleetwood Mac. But I think Christine McVie should join her one of these days. So talented as well on keyboards. So what a year, 2022. We lost quite a few heroes in the world of sports, acting, and musical artists as well. All right, coming up next, Tim Brando is in. Let's talk some college football with Timmy B. He goes into the night with Rick Ballou.
Learn what it takes to make a great signal call.
Give me clear green right, 97 Buster.
And hear stories from a quarterback whisperer, Denny Thompson.
Who made that call?
Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security. Security and automation experts on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank, a bank that goes above and beyond to serve you. South State has so many convenient locations to serve you, and now a beautiful newly constructed branch on King Street in Riverside. South State Bank is known for its excellent customer service. They make banking easy. Trust me, I know. And I trust South State Bank for all my banking needs, personal, business, loans, and beyond, and you can too. South State Bank, banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This month, the Key Buick GMC received 4.59% up to 72 months on Buick Enclave, Envision, Encore, and Encore GX. The stunning Buick Envision is here, and it's been named the best luxury compact SUV by Consumer Reports, and he has them in stock now. Key Buick GMC, where every new Buick comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty and no dealer markups. We are professional grade. Visit us today, Key Buick GMC, on the corner of Southside and Gate.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Eggnog and carpet? Wine on the sofa? Dingy looking towel and grout? No problem. Call Zero Res. Zero Res technicians, they're cleaning freaks. More than 5,000 five-star customer reviews. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
People here are raving about QC Kinetics and how regenerative medicine has changed their life. People like Helen, an avid mountain climber who got sidelined when an accident left her knees in constant pain.
I was not able to train or do really anything on my knee.
Helen was told surgery would be her only option. But then she found QC Kinetics and was treated with natural biologics designed to repair and restore tissue in her knees. 3 months later, she was climbing the highest mountain in North America.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain. I began treatment in March, and I summited Denali June the 7th. It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Get your life back with lasting results. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 28, 2008, Detroit Lions fall to Green Bay 31-21 to become the first team in NFL history to go winless in a 16-game season.
Best Bet is paying out over $725,000 in promotions this December. Kick off your holiday festivities at Best Bet Jacksonville, Best Bet Orange Park, and Best Bet St. Augustine with exciting promotions like Table Share Tuesdays and $500 table share drawings. Or play our fun table games like 1-card poker, 3-card poker, Face Up Pie Gal, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em. If you don't know how to play these card games, no worries. Our friendly dealers will be happy to teach you. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more information.
W's and L's are what it's all about in football season, and you know you want to be a winner. Well, don't forget about calling Florida Home AC at 777-4300 before all your friends come over and that AC or heating unit conks out. You'll have that L on your forehead, and that sticks. Make sure your AC can handle the heat and invite the gang over for a win. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, with prompt and quick service to make sure you stay cool in the heat and warm in the winter.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has become an attractive destination for golfers all over North Florida. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that'll test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time today at hiddenhillsgc.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
All right, we have played 3 quarters at the Military Bowl. Right now, Duke up 23-7 over Central Florida. Coming up tonight, Kansas, Arkansas, a real good one at 8 o'clock, Oregon, UNC, and then Texas Tech, Mississippi. We just talked about those who left us. Of course, I don't know if I mentioned Mike Leach. Obviously, he was with Mississippi State. In this case, though, it's Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss tonight against Texas Tech. So plenty of bowl games out there. Let's bring in our buddy Tim Brando. We always love to talk college football with Timmy B. He is with Fox Sports, and he joins Rick Ballou each and every Friday throughout the course of the regular season. But we have him right here in the middle of the week on a Wednesday afternoon. Timmy B., how are you?
I'm wonderful. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, and here's to a happy 2023, Rick. Good to be with you. Always good to visit with you on my favorite station in Jacksonville.
Yes, and we love having you. All right, you had a great tweet today, and I responded to it, and I knew I was going to have you on, but you know, I think it's the one issue, and it's been around forever, but I think it's the one issue that is certainly a very lengthy conversation. It's that whole rest to rust issue for the Final Four, which we'll get on Saturday. Do you have a feeling either way? Is there a team that you think has an outright advantage here, and on the flip side, perhaps a disadvantage?
Well, I think both underdogs have tremendous advantages. I think TCU is driven. They still remember that 1 yard that they didn't get that would have kept their record unblemished, and they would have had a Big 12 title, which I believe they feel like they earned. And did not get against a really good Kansas State team. You got to tip your cap to Kansas State. But I think that one loss, if you know anything about Duggan, and I did, 3 of TCU's games this past year with Spencer, including the win over Kansas State earlier in the year in October, which kept them undefeated, actually got them to 7-0, and they were well on their way. It was during that period when they had those back-to-back come-from-behind victories against Oklahoma State and against Kansas State. And they did it again, obviously, when they beat Baylor at the Horn in Waco. That was a game that I think you say to yourself, well, okay, they were emotionally distraught, but losing a game that way for a Big 12 title. But when they did not move one iota from the spot that they were in before, and the committee kept them in the 3-hole and matched them up against Michigan, I think they were euphoric. I think they loved the matchup with Michigan, and I think Duggan is the best player in the country, despite what the Heisman Trophy Trust did. And listen, Caleb Williams is a great player, hell of a story, but look, he's not better than Duggan as a college football player, in my opinion. And I think that he's going to be the best player on the field, and they've got weapons. They've got big-time weapons. Quentin Johnston is a freak at wide receiver. Would have won the Biletnikoff if it hadn't been for injury.
Mm-hmm.
His stats just weren't what they could have been because he missed 4 games. Jared Wiley, the tight end, is almost indefensible. The only tight end better, I think, is the one at Georgia. And they're playing a Michigan team that, because of their brand and because they beat Ohio State in Columbus, is considered a prohibitive favorite. I just don't see it. I do not see it at all. And then in the other game, I think Ohio State has had 28 days to get healthy. Mayan Williams is back. Not all the receivers, but most of them are healthy again. And they're really tired of being whipped by Buckeye Nation and the media for the last, 3.5 to 4 weeks after losing to Michigan the way they did. And to get matched up against Georgia, a team in the SEC that gave up 530 yards to LSU in the championship game, and I know some people are saying, well, but most of that was at mop-up time. Look, LSU would have been in that game were it not for a couple of really dumb plays they made in special teams. I mean, Georgia's defense can be burned, and I don't know of a team that could do a better job scintillating that burn than Ohio State when they're right. And so I think both. I'll just tell you now, I'm picking the Buckeyes and the Horned Frogs to go to the national championship.
Jim Brando doesn't even want the points, for crying out loud. He's got them winning straight up. Hey, you mentioned Quentin Johnston. He's been mentioned a lot around here as where the Jaguars will go. Now, the Jacksonville keeps winning, so he's probably going to be long gone before they get there. But because, to our listening audience, it's not a Big 12 listening audience, so to speak. It's SEC. What is so brilliant about Johnston?
Well, he's incredibly athletic. His height. I'm going to go really old school on you, okay? His height is like Harold Carmichael-esque.
Oh,
okay. He's just long. He can high point the ball and out jump almost anyone. He reminds you a little bit of Evans, only I think he's more athletic than Evans, and he's certainly faster than Evans. So, down there with Tampa Bay. I think he's the best wide receiver I saw. And he can beat you on seam routes. He's willing to take a hit and take the ball across the middle. He's willing to, and he can outrun people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's got the greatest speed, but his speed is deceptive because he's so long and angular. I just think the guy is money. Absolute money, and I don't think there's a defender for Michigan that can handle him at all. I think it's a matchup advantage for TCU, and the issue for the Horned Frogs is going to be, can they establish any kind of run game? Michigan is obviously tough on the run, and Duggan is the X factor there because he's elusive. And he can get yards. They have designed quarterback runs for him within their offense. So that gives them one more guy to account for in the running game. But, Kendre Miller's a good back, a serviceable back, but he's not a great back. Tay Barber is also an outstanding receiver. Darius Davis is a speed merchant. So it's not as if Johnston's all alone, but he's the most dynamic of the three guys that you generally see out there.
Jim Brando, our guest, of course, Timmy B, all year long, covers college football and does a great job play-by-play along with Spencer Tillman. He does so for Fox Sports. Also, a quick tip of the cap for bringing up Jacksonville's own Harold Carmichael when you mention that.
Right.
Born right here in Duval, no doubt about that, the Hall of Famer. All right, Stetson Bennett. I look at that Tennessee game, and I'm still surprised at the velocity that he threw the football during that particular game. To me, it was his best of the season. There's some reservation that Georgia's in trouble if they're down by a couple of possessions. What do you make of that?
I don't agree. I think Stetson Bennett is a gamer. He's more than a game manager now. I think he's a gamer. We're not supposed to tell you who we're voting for before we vote, but I'll tell you right now, I had him number 2 behind Duggan. I had Duggan 1. I had Bennett 2. I thought he earned it. I thought he made plays that the Bennett kid could not probably make a year ago. He was always a really good, smart quarterback, but now he's a really good, athletically gifted, smart quarterback. I think his game has grown. I mean, tremendously from a year ago. I don't think Georgia's offense is is necessarily a liability when they're behind at all. I do think Georgia's defense can be torched. That's what I'm telling you. I think that if the protection is good enough and the rush ends are not caving in on Stroud, I think that there's a very good chance that as long as Ryan Day stays away from, these 25-yard out routes where asking, a guy to make a throw like you're supposed to make on Sundays all the time. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart have both made a career out of intercepting those passes. Don't ask too much of C.J. Stroud. Let him hit some seam routes. Let him hit some over-the-top passes and some shallow crosses. Try to keep the game. You're going to have some explosive plays if you're Ohio State, but you don't have to get 5 seconds of protection because of the kind of route that's being run is an NFL route. I think that's where Day got into some trouble when they got behind against Michigan. I think they learned their lesson from that. I just believe, look, Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, got lit up by a lot of people after the Michigan game with all those dynamic plays, all those explosives. You've heard it all week. 5 plays cost them the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, when he was at Oklahoma State, when he was having that great year and they won 11 games for Gundy last year, he did give up. It is a risk-reward defense, and Ryan Day knew that when they hired him. But his run fit and the things that he was doing, he had his guys in the right place. They just got out-executed up front, out-toughed by Michigan. And I think the Buckeyes, after being thrown around a little bit, and their self-esteem got impacted by the loss to Michigan, I think they learned their lesson. And that's one of the reasons why I think they're going to really match up well with Georgia here. They are being sold by most in media as a severe underdog. Like it's a given that Georgia is just that much better. And I think it's because people can't get out of their minds what Georgia did to Michigan last year.
Right.
And what Michigan did to Ohio State this year. That has nothing to do with the matchup.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Okay?
Right.
Both fans and drive-by college football media can't get out of their minds. They can't unsee what they saw last year in the semifinals with Michigan and Georgia, and they can't unsee those 5 plays that Jim Knowles' defense gave up to Michigan. It's not like that. Matchups in college football from week to week are different. And I said all year we had a lot of parity in college football. And I think when you look at this group of 4 teams, and yeah, there's some familiarity with Georgia being there again, and Ohio State is a team that historically has been in the playoffs. But TCU and Michigan both are. Michigan was there a year ago, I know, but they're still new to it, and TCU is brand new to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think these teams are much more balanced and evenly matched than people realize. And I think emotionally, because of the way TCU lost to K-State, and because of the way Ohio State got bludgeoned at home, I think they take it out. I think there's an emotional influence and impact here that's going to help both of those teams. But I think the matchups are still very good to them.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pro-Georgia crowd. We know the game is in Atlanta. It's going to be a pro-Georgia crowd. But here's the other plus. It's also indoors, which means a fast track. Fast track helps Ohio State, okay? If this were a dome stadium anywhere else in the country besides Atlanta, I think you'd be hearing, you know what, Ohio State, man, this is a controlled environment. This is a carpet team. They're really good on that. They were not as good, and they aren't as good in a cold weather environment. They're almost an SEC team playing in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But because the game is in Atlanta, and they're going to have to use the silent count, people are like, well, this is another big advantage for Georgia. Listen, Ohio State's fan base will be heard. It's not like it's going to be 90 to 10%. I mean, it's going to be more like 65-35. I just think the Buckeyes are the worst possible matchup for Georgia. and I think TCU is the worst possible matchup for Michigan.
There you go.
So close games, but the underdogs win.
All right, Tim Brandon likes the underdog. Both the underdogs on both games coming up on Saturday. Hey, as we get ready to say goodbye, and I know we just had early signing day and everything along those lines. Is there a big splash coming? I mean, could Jim Harbaugh go to the NFL, or do you think we're done as far as college football coaches?
No, I think you're going to hear a lot more about coaches in the aftermath of these games, particularly at Alabama, where after the Kansas State game in the Sugar Bowl, both coordinators are gone. Both. Golding will be gone, the DC, and obviously O'Brien will be gone, the OC.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, that's another pick for you, okay? Alabama fans are already getting ready to tell you that, they just weren't up for the game because Kansas State's going to...
Like the Utah game years ago, yeah.
Kansas State's going to whip them the way Utah did. And everybody's like, well, if Bryce Young didn't leave, Will Anderson's coming back. They're saying all this because they want to make themselves feel better. But the truth is, Saban had a great signing day, yeah. But in today's environment, how many of those guys do you really hold on to? And ask the head coach at A&M about what signing day really means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I honestly believe that when you've got two coordinators that A, want out, and B, the fan base wants them out, you got some issues in terms of preparation.
Yeah.
And I think that whether it's a pro job or a college job, I think both of these guys are gone. Saban, in effect, has to replace both guys. And, he runs his program like an NFL organization. And in a lot of ways, his GM is gone too, if you want to call him that. So I think you're going to see some changes, noteworthy, because those guys are going to get jobs somewhere. Okay, where is that going to be?
Yeah.
And I think that, we've already seen Rule come back to college football. He's picked off a bunch of really good coaches to be on his staff, at Nebraska. And so, yeah, I think there's some big moves coming. We live in a world of change all the time, and particularly with the transfer portal and NIL, all this movement of players also means coaches have their heads on swivels.
Mm-hmm.
Where would I fit in best? So I think everybody's being upwardly mobile, and the potential of seeing some surprises in terms of guys deciding that they may step away or that they are going to get jobs elsewhere and become coordinators means there could be a domino effect in terms of big name coordinators going from one place to another.
Yeah.
And I think it all starts with those two guys that I mentioned, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator at Alabama, both of whom I believe, based on people I talked to in the business, are gone after this bowl game.
Good to see Bill O'Brien perhaps back with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Some talk about that. Yeah. All right, Tim Brando. Listen, I am told that Brother Bino tomorrow at 5:30 will be in Orlando. Oh, my goodness, it's the gods of J.C. Watts and Quentin Griffin. It's Oklahoma against the alma mater. How does Brother Bino see it?
Unbelievable. They got Oklahoma's got those cats. Venables has got all kinds of problems. You look at Florida State, they're 9 wins. Oklahoma's 6-6. Are you kidding me? One more 6 and they're Satan. For crying out loud, they got no shot. Florida State, God's country, Maloo's team, they win. They got the material.
There he goes. Brother Bino, and to you, Tim Brando, we'll be seeing you with tons of college basketball coming up. As always, our pleasure here in Jacksonville. Happy New Year to you and yours.
You got it, my friend. One big one before I let you go. Kansas over Arkansas tonight. A lot of bodies are gone for Arkansas. Kansas gets a bowl win, finishes with a winning year.
All right. There you have it right there from Tim Brando. Tim, always a pleasure. Thank you.
You got it. Happy New Year, buddy.
There he goes. Tim Brando on 1010XL in 92.5 FM. So there you have it. Brother Bino, I feel a little bit better now about the alma mater's chances tomorrow at 5:30. Brando's all over these upsets. Let me take a look at that line tonight with Arkansas and Arky favored by 2.5. So Brando playing the dog there. He's absolutely playing the dog in both of the national championship semifinal games. Wow, TCU, he's really ringing the bell for TCU, and he had them 3 times this year. He had Sonny Dykes and the Horned Frogs 3 times. You know, for the record, I voted Max Duggan second for the Heisman. And it's really probably unfair, but if they had ruled that a touchdown, I think I was going to vote him in. I ended up selecting Caleb Williams, and I didn't go with Stetson Bennett. I took Stroud as my 3rd overall pick. But Michigan's favored by 7.5 against TCU. Georgia favored by 6.5 against Ohio State. All right, we're going to check the money at the top of the hour. At 5 o'clock, the Philly Rooster is going to join us. We'll look at tomorrow's Florida State-Oklahoma matchup, those 2 semifinal games, also the very latest on the Jaguars and the Texans. That's all coming up at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, you want to respond to anything you just heard? Let us know. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. With Agent Gibbs, I'm Rick Ballou.
To play good football, meaningful football at the end of the season.
Quarterback sneak dive for the end zone, touchdown!
Every game's a must-win for us, and that's how we're treating it.
How about that? The Jaguars' Trey Herndon. The ball was fumbled. He caught it in midair.
They stick together. They hang together. They encourage one another.
We have something special here.
It's just a sign of our team coming together at the right time.
Next up,
we still got 2 games left. We got 2 division games.
The Houston Texans.
Love the momentum, the energy we have right now.
Sunday at 1.
We want to win.
On 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Frank Frangie here. Are you looking for that perfect truck or SUV? Nimnik Buick GMC has more models on the ground than they've had in over a year. Truckloads of new Buicks and GMCs, all models. No one will ever pay over MSRP at Nimnik Buick GMC. So stop by the showroom on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or reserve yours today online at nimnikbuickgmc.com and drive away in that new vehicle you've been dreaming of. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Welcome to Rockville, the world center of rock, May 18th through the 21st, 2023, at Daytona International Speedway with Tool, Slipknot, the return of Avenged Sevenfold, the reunion of Pantera, plus Godsmack, Deftones, Evanescence, Rob Zombie, Queens of the Stone Age, Alice Cooper, Incubus, Harvey, Pussifer, Chevelle, I Prevail, and so many more. 95 plus bands over 4 days in beautiful Daytona, Florida. Welcome to Rockville, May 18th through the 21st. Single day weekend and camping passes on sale now as low as $10 down at welcometorockville.com. Tool, Pantera, Avenged Sevenfold, and Slipknot. Welcome to Rockville, the world center of rock. The King.
This month is the perfect time to make sure your roof hasn't been damaged after storm season. Schedule a complimentary roof evaluation with Universal Roof and Contracting. You may qualify for 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months on your roof repair project, plus a free warranty upgrade for first responders and veterans. This offer expires December 31st and restrictions apply. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Backed up clogged drains stink, but Duck Rooter can have you flowing again today for a discounted price of only $119. Some restrictions apply. Call to schedule 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Hicken here. Look for my video weekend updates for what is happening in sports and my take on it. The Weekend with Dan is available on YouTube, the 1010XL Twitter feed, and Instagram account. Brought to you by Millennium Physician Group, your connection to a healthier life.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom! You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
To be our best selves, we need to take care of our whole self. That includes your spirit, mind, and your body. At the First Coast YMCA, our members find balance in spirit, mind, and body with unlimited group exercise classes, adult sports leagues, health coaching, and programs designed for chronic disease prevention. And if you join the Y now, you'll pay nothing until February. Discover all the benefits of a Y membership and find your Y at fcymca.org.
Love cornhole? Yeah! Then now's the time to order your custom set of quality boards from Mystic Cornhole Company, built right here in Jax. They even carry several lines of pro bags. Visit the shop today and score at Mystic Cornhole Company.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars go to Houston on Sunday, but many are looking ahead to next week when the Jaguars host the rival Tennessee Titans for the AFC South crown and a spot in the playoffs. Knowing that next Sunday is for the AFC South title, would Doug Peterson consider resting his players this week against Houston?
Not at all. Full steam ahead. AFC South opponent, again, team that beat us in week 5 and just focused on, putting a good week of preparation in.
Peterson, courtesy of Jaguars.com. Jaguars at Texans. Kickoff Sunday at 1 o'clock right here on 1010XL. I'm Andrew Gibson with your JOI Jaguars update.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You can take me to paradise, and then again you can be cold as ice. I'm over my head.
Really torn up about the loss of Christine McVie. I really am. It felt like she was never appreciated the way that she should have been. I think her voice is better than Stevie Nicks. I'm just going to come right out and say it. Stevie's got a little bit of raspiness to it, like she's outside smoking 2 or 3 packs of Marlboro Lights. But she's all gone. Tough one. Very good, too, on several instruments, including, obviously, the organ. All right, Timmy B, thank you. Mike Gundy, he mentioned Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy, outside of Jimbo Fisher, may be the biggest fraud in college football. I'm sure a lot of you didn't watch it because it started last night at like 10:30, right? But Oklahoma State lost to Wisconsin. It was like a 7-3 ball game with like 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And, Oklahoma State, they were a top 10 team at one point. They were 5-0, right? Then they lost in double overtime at TCU. Came back, knocked off Texas, then just got absolutely destroyed by Kansas State, 48-0. So, they wrapped up the season by losing 6 out of 8. And there's a lot of whispers about what's going on. So after the game last night, remember, this is the same Mike Gundy who freaked out when he was 40, remembered about something that was written in the local newspaper about a quarterback and a guy who was sit down. He said, come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. So he had that huge approach. And, I think most people, unless you're a diehard within the Big 12, when you think of Mike Gundy, you think of 2 things. An absurd mullet and that quote about I'm 40. Well, last night, he does the exact opposite. A reporter asks him a legitimate question about whether or not he is going to make any defensive coaching changes. And he's like, how can you ask me that question? They've got families. Even to the point where he threatened to have this guy's credential taken away, where he's no longer allowed to cover Oklahoma State. Now, I don't know who this writer was or where, his line of work is, but no coach has the right to tell a reporter what an appropriate question is. And don't give me timing and all of this and all of that. Oklahoma State fans want to know what the hell is going on with their defensive side of the football and why they have crumbled the way that they have. So I just find it really painful that this is the same man who called out the media about coming to him and asking him the tough questions. And then yesterday, he goes down the road that he did by basically saying, don't ask me those questions right after game. You see that? Did you happen to see that story, Gibby?
No, I missed it last night. Like you said, the game started at 10:30, but I would believe it, though. I mean, he's gone down that path before, like you said.
And the thing is you bring more attention to yourself when something like this happens. If you just all you got to do is take the high road. All you got to do is say, listen, man, we just dealt with a tough loss. I have no idea what is going on. I'm going to meet with my staff. End of story. End of question. But no, he flexes. And, here's a guy who's 7-6 telling reporters how they should do their job. It's just so wrong. And it's classic Mike Gundy. Reports out of Nashville tonight are that Derrick Henry is not going to play tomorrow night. Doubtful. What is it, a hip?
Hip injury.
Wow. So
and that would probably linger into next week.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, Mike Vrabel's handled this totally differently than Doug Peterson. Mike Vrabel has said, now I would think that Malik Willis, you got to play him. Obviously, the situation with Tannehill, he can't go anyway, and Willis only has 3 career starts. But, let's be honest about this. Tennessee is getting swallowed up. They can't score. And with no Derrick Henry, they can't even move the football. I think Willis passed for 90 yards last week. Dallas is going to crush them on Thursday and hopefully step right on their neck and really take the life out of them. They've now lost 5 in a row. This will be 6 in a row before they take that trip into Jacksonville. The only advantage that Tennessee has at all is the 3 extra days of rest. Okay? They play tomorrow night, so they get to get healthy on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where obviously the Jaguars play at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Houston. That is a factor, but I just can't see how Tennessee right now can play with the Jaguars. For those of you who are wondering if the season ended today, remember the playoff format has changed. Only 1 team with a bye in both conferences. So Buffalo would get the first round bye. You would have the 2nd seed Kansas City host a 7th seed in Miami. You would have a 3rd seed in Cincinnati host a 6th seed in Los Angeles. And a 4th seed right here in Duval, the Jaguars hosting a 5th seed in Baltimore. To the NFC, Philly, the first round bye, and they got some good news today. All the talk of their right tackle not being able to play, Lance Johnson, he is now going to get surgery after the playoffs. So what a tough guy he is, and he's going to tough it out to try to win out there in Philadelphia. A 2nd seed Minnesota will host a 7th seed in Washington. If you have not heard, Carson Wentz is going to be the starting quarterback for the team out of the District of Columbia coming up on Sunday. 3rd seed San Francisco with Brock Purdy is going to take on the New York Giants. That's a 3 and a 6 seed if, in fact, the playoffs begin this weekend. And Tampa, a 4 seed with a record of 7 and 8, taking on Dallas, a 5th seed with a record of 11-4. So that's the latest. And again, that'll change after this weekend and the final weekend. We still have week 17 and 18, games 16 and 17 there for us all. Let's check the money. Let's do it right now. The Philly Rooster is on deck. We'll look at the Jaguars and their matchup against Houston. Florida State tomorrow against Oklahoma. And, of course, both semifinals to be played on Saturday for the right to go to the national championship. The Philly Rooster on deck. He is with Rick Ballou.
All right, here we go.
Former Jaguars QB David Garrard joins Jaguars Today to talk Jags.
Let's go, Googans. Let's go, Googans.
Mondays on 1010XL.
Man, I can't sing.
Brought to you by Napa Auto Care.
Frank Frangie here for Nimnick Chevrolet, Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. With nearly 150 Silverados on the lot and shipments arriving daily, you'll find the perfect truck at Nimnick Chevrolet because they have the largest selection of Silverados in town. Nimnick Chevrolet is one of the highest volume Silverado dealers in Florida because they're committed to providing the largest selection of trucks with the best price guarantee. Located at the corner of Park Street and Cassett Avenue, or NimnickChevy.com. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 5-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient. Chevy, find new roads.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
The 2023 First Tee North Florida Tour Card is your ticket to some of the best golf courses in North Florida.
Each tour card is only $99 and directly contributes to programs for
kids like us that build character,
instill life-enhancing values,
and promote healthy choices through the game of golf.
Tour card members will have access to play at 16 courses throughout the 2023 calendar year.
With the tour card, you'll save over $1,000 to play these golf courses.
Get yours today at tourcard.org.
Restrictions apply.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. If you're looking for a real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss, call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
What's causing your hair to fall out? Can your hair grow back? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS Hair and Scalp Analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Call right now for your free analysis, 904-777-IHRS, or visit hairforme.com. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They are the only clinic to offer the trademarked multi-unit hair grafting PRP platelet-rich plasma and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic pain are getting real lasting relief with QC Kinetics. Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine with locations right here in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. These unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restore damaged tissues so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain? If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from any injury, don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids. And say no to pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing, all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this year. People are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as next year. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522 in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra.
Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill is your spot to be for all your football needs. Full liquor bar, 8 pool tables, darts, and shuffleboard. Weekly specials every day of the week from 60-cent wings to seltzer Saturdays, along with wing and pitcher specials on Sunday, and tons of great draft choices daily. There isn't a better place to play pool, have a beer, and just kick back. Half-price apps from 9 to close weekdays. Perfect Rack Billiards on Edgewood and Murray Hill, the best place in Jax to watch sports. This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by your First Coast Honda dealers. UCF and Duke are playing in the Military Bowl right now on 1010 AM and the AM stream. And at last check, Duke leads UCF 23-13. This game is in the final few moments, less than 2 minutes to go in the Military Bowl. Duke leading by 10, 23-13. About 10 minutes ago, the Florida Gators formally announced the addition of Graham Mertz, the transfer quarterback from Wisconsin. Breaking NFL news this hour, the Tennessee Titans and running back Derrick Henry expected to be doubtful against the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow night. That is an injury to certainly keep an eye on, especially going into next week. Right now, 61 degrees at 5:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
All right, the Philly Rooster is 30 seconds away. The official injury report just came out for Tennessee. You have got to be kidding me. Mike Vrabel is like, don't worry about it. Just get ready for a week from Sunday against Jacksonville. The big one is the story on Yuli's Derrick Henry. Okay, he's got a hip. He's listed as doubtful. 2 other players are doubtful. Their best corner, Christian Fulton, and their overall top sack artist in Danico Autry, both doubtful. The following players are out. Linebackers Dylan Cole and Zach Cunningham. Outside linebacker Bud Dupree. Safety Amani Hooker. Tackle Nicholas Pettit. Obviously quarterback Ryan Tannehill is out. Jeffrey Simmons, the very good defensive tackle, is out. Another defensive back suffering through a concussion, Josh Thompson, is out as well. So Mike Vrabel made no bones about it. He's resting his players and trying to get ready for the game here against Jacksonville a week from Sunday. That is the exact opposite for the Jaguars, and I'm waiting on their injury report. Let me check one more time. It should be released here coming up shortly. The first injury report for Jacksonville, of course, there'll be one Thursday and Friday before the game Sunday in Houston. Let's bring in our good friend. He is the Philly Rooster, and he joins Rick Ballou. Philly Rooster, how are you, sir?
Good, my man. How you doing, Rick?
Yeah, everything's good. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well.
So far, so good. Christmas was great. I got a big bet on Duke right now. They just scored another touchdown. It's 30-13, so I'm in a good mood.
Is overall the bowl's going pretty good for you?
Yeah, really well. We're crushing the number. We took 5 on Duke. It closed 3. On Kansas, which plays today. Okay. North Carolina, we took 14.5, closed 13.5. That's later on today. I just laid Ole Miss for a small bet. If your listeners want to jump in on that one with me and root it in at 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, late night tonight against the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Pretty good bowl day today in the world of college football. You know, one of our last conversations was about, possibly restraint with all of these opt-outs and rust compared to rest. I mean, how do you know who to pick, who not to pick? So with that said, let's get to the game here tomorrow at 5:30. That is Florida State and Oklahoma. Your opinion on that matchup?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and not much has changed other than more public money has piled in on Florida State. This game opened 8.5, 65.5. When we last spoke about it, it was 9.5 and 65.5. I'm really expecting this game to go to 10. before game time. I mean, right now, 78% of the bets are on Florida State. 80% of the money, the public is all over this team. Sharp money really hasn't shown up yet because we're just sitting here waiting for the plus 10, but I think plus 10 on the dog here is a big bet. I'm waiting for it. I'm going to hit it hard.
78% of the bets on Florida State, 80% of the money on Florida State. So obviously the public all over the Noles here.
Yeah, and usually when this happens, if it's close to a key number, the sharp money will not come in until game time because the bookmakers are going to be begging for money on the dog. They don't want to go to 10 yet. They kind of want to wait and see what happens, but at the end, they're going to have to go to 10 to get some double-sided action here.
All right, so plus 10 for Oklahoma. We'll wait to see if some of that wise guy money does roll in when it's all said and done. Let's get to the semifinals coming up on Saturday. We just had Tim Brando on the air. He loves the dogs in both these games. Let's begin with matchup number one. That is obviously, TCU getting set to take on Michigan. That'll be at 4 o'clock on Saturday. How do you see this one?
This one's interesting. It opened 7.5, 58.5, and just like the Georgia game, which we're going to talk about in a minute, has not moved. What they opened this line at is what it's sitting at. 55% of the bets are on Michigan, and 48% of the money's on Michigan. So this is really two-sided action here. People are giving TCU a lot of love. And in this case, I'm going to disagree with Brando. I think this is a Michigan perfect spot to lay 7 on the buy, -7, -20, buy the half point. I think they'll win by at least 7. Looking at the bet count and the money count, it looks like sharp money's on both sides, public money's on both sides. So in this case, I think this is a good spot for the favorite. I think the line's a little bit low.
All right, I'm very surprised to hear you say that, Philly Rooster, because I look at Michigan as a major brand and TCU kind of a fringe team. Now, those who really know it and understand it certainly have a good feeling for them, but others around the country, it doesn't have the same recognition. But only 48% of the money is on Michigan?
I have a couple of real reliable offshore books. I even checked with some connections in Vegas. They're all about the same. It's very, very troubling that all the money is not on Michigan here. This tells me TCU's getting a little bit too much love. My guy who makes the lines that we go by in betting made this game 9. I think this is a good spot for the favorite to cover in a bowl game, and you know me, I almost always take the dogs.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. I'm a huge fan of the underdog. I do like your play here though with buying a half point. That 7.5 is so annoying, and that could end up crippling you. So if you are going to play Michigan, I like your way of going there. That is playing them at 7, buying a half point, Michigan over TCU. Philly Rooster, tell us about how our listeners can get a hold of you, both the website and your Twitter handle.
At Philly Rooster on Twitter. We've got the Rooster Hotline. We give out free games, gave out games all day today. And then the PhillyGodfather.com is $3 a day. You get everything I bet my own money on, and you get it through text message, so you get it quick, and we crushed the closing line. Closing line value is very big for me.
Georgia trying to repeat. 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Number 1, Georgia. Number 4, Ohio State. How do you see this one, Philly Rooster?
This one's a little bit different. 81% of the bets are on Georgia. 82% of the money's on Georgia. Georgia is the public favorite. It's been there all year long. And I think Ohio State has a chance to beat this team when I look at the matchup. The line opened 6.5, 62.5. It's still sitting there. There's definitely going to be 7s on this game by game time. Kind of similar to the Florida State game. They're going to be begging for money on the dog. I like Ohio State here plus the 7. If you can't get 7, buy it up to 7 -20. Big bet on Ohio State.
It's high. It looks high. You play it high. That's kind of the way I look at it. I think this game ends up being, a 38-35 type of game. I'm not going to bet, but I really like the over here. Do you have an opinion?
I lean over. I mean, 62.5 for a good defensive team with Georgia seems very high. But I'm with you. I think they're going to take out all the stops on both offensive game plans. There's going to be trick plays. There's going to be everything. It might turn into a track meet. I lean over here, but I'm with you. I think I'm going to sit out the total. I'm just going to take Ohio State.
All right, Ohio State plus the 7. Again, all the money, all the bets are more than 80%, 81% of the bets on Georgia, 82% of the money so far in on the Georgia Bulldogs. All right, let's wrap it up by getting to the game Sunday. Houston has won 9 in a row against the Jaguars. It's pretty simple for Jacksonville, Philly Rooster. They keep winning. They are not only in, but they're going to host a playoff game here during Wild Card Weekend. It is absolutely amazing to think that really could be the case. What do you make of this game here now with Jacksonville visiting Houston?
Yeah, interesting decision by my man Doug Peterson. As you know, he's considered a saint in Philadelphia. He won a Super Bowl after 50 years. We love the guy. Hated to see him go, but he decided to play his players. And when that happened, I was expecting a line move. The Jags opened 5.5, 46.5. With all the questions about who was going to play, who wasn't going to play. It went down to 4.5. The total went way down to 43.5. And then when he came out today and said he's starting everybody, it didn't move back up. I was surprised at that. 56% of the bets are on Jacksonville. Only 22% of the money on Jacksonville. Now, like we talked about earlier in the season, there are some circumstances here where you can't really look at the bet count in this game because there was a lot of uncertainty earlier in the week. So I'm going to wait till closer to game time here, but I am leaning Texans plus 4.5 here. I missed the number at 5.5. I would have liked to take that. But I have a feeling if things go south for Dougie P, he's going to pull the trigger quick and get his players out of there and get them rested. He only has to win next week against Tennessee. This game doesn't matter.
So 22% of the money on Jack. So would you say 56% of the bets?
Yeah. So that's telling you early money came in on the Jags. And then after the uncertainty, some money came in on the Texans. You're really not going to know till game time on this game just because of the way, these decisions are being made at the last minute.
All right. So the underdog there, and then you got it at what, 4.5?
Right now, plus 4.5.
Yep. There you go. That is the Philly Rooster. All right, sir, once again, give your information out there to our listeners so they can get a hold of you.
At Philly Rooster on Twitter. Come follow, bet my free games. But if you want the premium stuff, the stuff I put my own money on, thephillygodfather.com. Sign up for $3 a day, and you get text messages all day, Saturday and Sunday, and straight through March Madness.
Happy New Year, Philly Rooster. Best of luck with your plays.
Thanks, Rick. Talk to you next week.
There he goes, the Philly Rooster. Likes Oklahoma plus the 10 against Florida State tomorrow. Michigan TCU is going to take Michigan here. He's going to buy a half point. If you don't get it at 7, spend. I mean, the 7.5, it's like one of the worst numbers. It's like, it's like when you're with your wife and everything's great and the in-laws are cool and the mother-in-law is cool. Then all of a sudden, like a year later, she becomes the head honcho of the Outlaws. That's like what a 7.5 point spread is. I mean, you're really beyond stupid to ever lay 7.5 points. Buy a half point. He likes the Buckeyes plus 7. 81% of the bets are on Georgia. 82% of the money on Georgia. Trying to repeat. Buckeyes there plus 7. And then he's going to take Houston plus the 4.5. Sounded like to me that he's not a firm believer that Doug Peterson's going to keep everyone in this football game. We've talked about getting an early lead and getting them out. What if it goes the other way? What if Houston piles up with a lead? Do you take them out because you're not playing well? I find that scenario hard to believe that even though, listen, kind of lost in all this, Texans are playing better football than their record would indicate. I yelled all last week that Houston would go into Tennessee and win, and this was before the Ryan Tannehill injury. Okay, they lost in overtime to Kansas City 2 weeks ago. They lost 27-23 in Dallas. This team is playing better than their record. We'll see what ends up happening. So that is the latest there. All right, appreciate the Philly Rooster for joining us. Coming up next, let's get back to the Jaguars. We'll talk with John Osher. He is the senior writer of Jaguars.com. The very latest on the Jags as they go to Houston. They try to snap that losing streak coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
It's an SEC matchup. The Gators and Auburn Tigers. Tonight at 6:30 on 1010 AM.
Hey, look, you got to be able to trust your insurance agent. My insurance agent is State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig's such a good guy. And no matter what you need, automotive, life insurance, homeowners, any kind of insurance, even commercial insurance, he'll guide you in the right way. He is the insurance guy. Call him at 940-9740. Believe me, if something goes wrong, he will be there, and he'll be there to help the cause. 940-9740. The best insurance agent in all of town is my friend Craig Dewhurst at State Farm. Call him today, 940-9740.
Hey, have you heard why people are driving from all over the country to buy from Beaver? Stop waiting for months for the vehicle you're looking for. We have new inventory on the lot, priced to sell and waiting for you. Plus, every new vehicle comes with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty for your peace of mind. It's simple. We want to provide you with exceptional service before and after the sale. We'll see you at Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Or Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you.
Lauren Brooks here for the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center. You can turn your kitchen into the kitchen of your dreams with a huge selection of Timberlake cabinets. Timberlake cabinets are now offered in a variety of colors, including sage green and navy blue. You've got to see the showroom with these beautiful, modern Timberlake cabinets. The Kitchen and Flooring Design Center is located on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown, or you can find them online at floorsandkitchen.com. That's the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center.
Hey, did you get that proposal done?
It can wait till tomorrow.
Some things can wait.
Should we book those flights to see your folks?
We can do it later.
But untreated COVID isn't one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms? Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every lawyer at Harrell & Harrell is part of Harrell & Harrell. It's about everyone that you have in the process to help that client. And using all of that, we have the size and the resources to take on any company, no matter how large.
Offices, Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman, Kevin Faber, and Kirk Waltz bring you into the outdoors.
We've got 3 big bucks.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter, 7 to 10 every Saturday morning on 1010XL.
Here at Rhino Shield, we've been protecting homes for over 20 years. We are your go-to coating company for repairing and coating stucco. But Rhino Shield is engineered for any surface. Our coating is perfect for any siding or material used on homes. From stucco to vinyl, brick, wood, hardy board, or stone. If it's on your house, we can coat it. It's a new day at Rhino Shield, so give us a call or visit us online to set up an appointment. Rhino Shield, engineered to outlast paint.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
All the chicken you can eat in just $12.49? Yes, it's true. This isn't fake news. Oh no. Backed by overwhelming demand, Woody's Barbecue presents their all-you-can-eat chicken Sunday special with all the trimmings for just $12.49 every Sunday at your nearby Woody's.
This is Woody Mills inviting you to Woody's Barbecue today. Come see us.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. Did you know that Zero Res does an excellent job of cleaning commercial carpet? We clean hundreds of businesses and churches all over town. If your carpet is due for a good cleaning, give Zero Res a call. For 1 week only, December 26th through the 31st, we are offering 20% off on all commercial carpet cleaning. We will be glad to come do a free estimate. Give us a call and take advantage of this great deal during the Christmas break. That's 20% off on all commercial carpet cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Welcome to Rockville, the world center of rock. May 18th through the 21st, 2023 at Daytona International Speedway with Tool, Slipknot, return of Avenged Sevenfold. The reunion of Pantera. Plus Godsmack, Deftones, Evanescence, Rob Zombie, Queens of the Stone Age, Alice Cooper, Incubus, Harvey, Pussifer, Chevelle, I Prevail, and so many more. 95 plus bands over 4 days in beautiful Daytona, Florida. Welcome to Rockville, May 18th through the 21st. Single day weekend and camping passes on sale now as low as $10 down at welcometorockville.com. Tool, Pantera, Avenged Sevenfold, and Slipknot. Welcome to Rockville, the world center of rock.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now,
hello.
Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Great teams win these games. Games that you got to win, you win them. And that's what we're trying to become as a great team. And I think we're on our way. But we got to keep doing this consistently, and I got to keep doing it too as the quarterback and as a player on this team. Like, it's all about consistency, and I've played well the past month or whatever it is, but I got to keep doing that.
All right, Trevor Lawrence, that was a few hours ago commenting on his performance. It has been outstanding as of late, and of course, Doug Peterson announced earlier today when he spoke to the media that if you're planning on him or perhaps others sitting out, that is not going to be the case in this matchup against Houston. Let's bring in John Osher, senior writer, Jaguars.com. He joins Rick Ballou each and every Wednesday. We're on a little bit earlier this afternoon. John, how are you?
Good, Rick. How are we?
Yeah, we're doing good, man. Everything's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's...
I haven't talked to you since they really got hot. It's funny.
Yeah.
We skipped last week, but I was telling somebody around here, amazing how different or how fast things change. They beat the Titans, but nobody really knew what that was. It was cool, but you felt like they were better. But then in like a 4-day period, they go from a little team that beat the Titans to being in the playoffs as they went out.
Yeah,
meaning to first place, and now. I'm getting emails this week, Rick, saying, "Hey, it's over, right? I mean, they're going to make the playoffs." It's like, over? 5 minutes ago, you were writing me this team stunk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's how quickly it changed, and I feel it. I certainly agree that they should make the playoffs. I mean, they should get this done. But it's no guarantee. The Titans are going to be tough in that last game. I don't care who's hurt.
I have really had a very difficult time trying to figure out this team. I mean, they lose 5 in a row. They're down 17-0 to the Raiders. They come from behind, they win. They're down 20-0 to KC. They come back, make it a game, go to a bye, trailing again against Baltimore, win it. They have all this momentum. They get just crushed by Detroit. And if you go back and listen to my shows that week, you talk about telling our listeners that everything is over and everything needs to change. And then look at what they've done over the last 3 weeks. Honestly, it makes very little sense to me.
Well, if they weren't a young team trying to come together, I think it would really confuse me if they'd been under Doug for 2 or 3 years. Or if Trevor was a veteran quarterback, or if they had played together a long time. I think most of the inconsistency to me can point to that. They're a young team trying to figure each other out. They had a hiccup against Detroit. Again, I don't think they're a great team yet. For fans who want to say, well, they should do this or should do that, they're a hair's breadth away from still being out of this thing. Meaning, You came from 17 points down twice. You had really improbable wins against Baltimore and against Dallas. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from those wins, but you're 5 yards away from losing to Baltimore, and you're 15 yards away from losing to Dallas, potentially in overtime or late in those games. So when Trevor kind of said today, stopped himself and said, hey, look, we haven't clinched anything yet. We have a lot to prove. We still have to do this every week. The narrative can change fast. If you lose to the Texans, or certainly if you lose to Tennessee, all of a sudden people are saying, well, what happened to you? You thought you were good. So it's a week-to-week league. They're there. I think they have a chance to really have a special end to this season. But absolutely, they got to keep proving it.
Yeah. To this fan base, not in a row on the other side of Houston, I mean, this game means so much. To these players, I mean, let's be honest. You can lose, and then you win the week after, you're going to get in. But with that said, what degree of importance do you believe this game means to Trevor Lawrence and this football team?
Well, I think a lot, because I think they're going there very much wanting to win and laying it all on the line. With legitimate reason, because they have the out of, hey, if we lose, we can go beat Tennessee. But the wild card is still out there. There are wild card scenarios for them, and they can enhance their chances against Tennessee by winning against Houston. Meaning, if you win against Houston, then you're guaranteed that a tie gets you in that last game. And you can say what you want about that not being very likely, but one of the reasons ties aren't likely in this league is because once you get into overtime, teams are playing to win. Well, it would matter very much with 4 minutes to go in overtime against Tennessee if all you had to do was tie.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden you can start playing a little different. You have to take chances. So I'm not saying that they are going into that saying, hey, let's go tie Tennessee. But we've all seen games late where if you could play for a tie, if you had that security blanket, don't you think you would like to have it?
Yeah,
So,
there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I think they're going to go to Houston. I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be easy. But there's also a feeling with this team, Rick, of, again, they've only been good for about a minute and a half. And I'm exaggerating, but it's not like this is a veteran team that knows how to turn it on, turn it off. I think they're a team that for the last 2 weeks has had some success by going out there with their hair on fire. I don't think they're going to stop that. Certainly, if Doug tells them it's important, they're going to believe it because they're listening to him right now.
John Osher, our guest, senior writer, Jaguars.com. Get everything from John and his staff. Again, just go to Jaguars.com. Trevor Lawrence has been just fantastic. I think, out of all the praise, the one thing that perhaps is slightly overlooked is his escapability and his pocket presence. I mean, where did this all of a sudden come from? Maybe it's just all evolving at once. But you can go back to that pass to Jamal Agnew a couple of weeks ago when he was pushed up in the pocket, was forced to go right to left, threw across his body, hit Agnew on the sideline. And, this offensive line's been beaten up, but there's only been 2 sacks in the last 2 weeks against very good defensive teams, obviously in New York and Dallas. That's a credit to that offensive line.
Yeah, I don't think you can overlook comfort level in the offense. And when I say that, I think I mentioned on your show a couple of times the conversation I had a while back with Bucky Brooks, who does our Huddle Up podcast and a lot of work for us. And when Trevor was struggling a little bit with accuracy early in the season, and there were times where you were wondering, hey, are those high passes going to come down? Is there an accuracy issue? And I asked Bucky about it, and he said he believed that once he got comfortable in the offense and confident that the footwork would come along behind it and that he would be more accurate. To me, the escapability sort of goes back to that, too. He's playing like a quarterback who knows what he's doing. He's playing like a quarterback who's comfortable playing football. And I think that has led to being, making better decisions in the pocket. He's not thinking back there as much.
Right.
He's playing when the rush gets to him. Hey, I'm going to make a play here. I think everything, the water has kind of risen all boats, if you will, with him. Once he got comfortable in the scheme, once he felt like he's walking out on that field knowing what he's doing, confident in what he's doing, now he's starting to play like the number one overall pick in the draft on a lot of levels. Maybe that's not it, but it all seems to line up that confidence has raised his game on so many different levels, and it's allowed him to start playing like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and it's so much fun to just sit back and observe. I mean, it's incredible. And I'm guessing, John, I don't know, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, I'm sitting here thinking, Evan Ingram, he's averaging just over, 3 receptions a game, $9 million. You can afford to let him go. And then all of a sudden, you look at what he's done the last 3 weeks. He's caught 26 footballs for 337 yards. And all of a sudden, this is becoming a totally new dimension that this offense has, along with, with Kirk and Zay, that Evan Ingram right now is playing the best football perhaps he ever has in his career.
Oh, yeah, I think he would tell you that. And, there was a lot of angst in the Ozone inbox for a while, but hey, I thought Doug used the tight ends. Where are the tight ends in this offense? Why isn't that happening? And, Doug kept saying, to his credit, look, we're not game planning for any particular guy. It'll come. He's doing the right things, Evan. He's playing well. The numbers just aren't quite there. I think what's remarkable, there's, 988 for Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram are both like around 750.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
So the other two, I think it's probably a reach to think that Ingram and Zay are going to get there. Maybe. I'm not saying it won't happen. But it wouldn't be surprising if they fall just short of 1,000. But since week 8 or 9, don't all three of those guys feel like 1,000-yard players?
Yeah.
So I think Ingram's back next year. I think he wants to be back, and the team's going to want him back. They're going to figure out a way to make that happen. I see him going into next season with 3,000-yard guys in spirit, if not in fact, and then you're adding Ridley to that. I mean,
Yeah.
And you've already got Ingram. You've already got
Mm-hmm.
Travis Etienne, who's 1,000-yard back. Now, it stretches reason to think that all 5 of those guys are going to have 1,000-yard seasons next year. But they're all that guy, and they're all capable of it. Sort of overnight, this has become a very potent offense with a lot of weapons. And I don't feel like it's peaked yet because they're still learning each other. They're only 15 games into this thing. So they're still learning. They still have another off season together where these coaches are going to say, now that we've done this, what can we do with these guys? It's about to get fun.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And imagine that off-season conversation about there's not enough balls to go around to keep all these guys happy.
Just like every year around here.
Yeah, when's the last time that's been said? Hey, let's wrap with this. Jacksonville's been fortunate for the most part this year. They've avoided injuries. Yeah, Ben Barch went down early and Shaq Griffin went down. But, big blows over the last 2 weeks. Cam Robinson's been out. He will remain out. And now you lose Dewan Smoot, whose role was really increasing during the second half of the season. They were getting more out of him as the games continued to move forward. So you're going to have to make some adjustments. We know Little will stay at left tackle. Apparently, according to Doug today, does the light finally go on for Caleb Von Chason?
Well, you hope. And everybody talks about depth all off season. All during training camp when they were losing games, in the preseason because they're, the guys who wouldn't be on the roster weren't playing well. So I think they're probably about at the limit of their depth.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, in the NFL, your swing guard and your swing tackle need to be basically starters because those guys are going to play most likely. So credit to Trent Baalke for having depth there because so far that line has been deep. I sort of wonder if the offensive line isn't sort of at the outer edges of that. So I think they've tested their limits, and now it gets interesting. You have the chance for Caleb on. It still feels like they've been adequately deep there. first round pick is your backup. That's not supposed to be a major fall off. We'll see. I feel like they're still deep enough to withstand it on defense as long as they don't get one more. But I think on the lines, they're about at their outer edges of being confident in their depth. Doesn't mean a guy can't step up, but I think they've about reached their limit of what they can logically withstand.
Yeah. It is going to be fascinating, no doubt about it. It has been the entire year, and that'll continue as the Jaguars try to snap that losing streak against Houston. 1 o'clock on Sunday. I'll be with you as early as 8 a.m. Sunday morning and bringing in a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, John. Always a pleasure. Thanks.
Rick, stay hydrated on New Year's.
Yep.
Important.
There he goes. That is John Osher. Good stuff. The hydration for me on New Year's, I don't think is not going to be a typical year for me, Gibby. I got 2 college football playoff games, and I got to be up at 6:30 on Sunday morning, get in here at 8 a.m. for the pregame show.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of fun things to talk about. Like you said before, isn't it great this time of year to be talking about that?
It really is. I mean, I just really feel great for the Jaguar fans. But, I mean, what a year of just up and down and total, you talk about being an unpredictable football team. After that Detroit game, man, I just totally threw everything in. And that's what I love about fandom is that regardless of what you said, it doesn't matter because you're a fan and you could say and do whatever the hell you want to do. We know this place is going to be packed a week from Sunday against Tennessee, and I expect it to be packed the week after when you host a playoff game. You know what my money right now says? They go to a divisional round. They're going to have to go on the road, but my guess is they win against Houston, they win against Tennessee, and I think they're going to win a playoff game here. Now, today it would be Baltimore. There's still an opportunity for several teams to come here, most notably Miami or Los Angeles. And Miami, the whole Tua situation is not good. Los Angeles is a team that, the other two, they played and defeated. They beat the brains out of L.A. there. And that, that was probably their best victory of the season. All right, there were come-from-behind victories that were incredibly entertaining, but I'm just talking about a dominant performance from the time the game began until when it ended. So that's where I'm going to go. The divisional round, we'll see about that as we draw a little bit closer, but at least that is my opinion on that particular situation. All right, we're getting ready to wrap things up. My goodness, where have the 3 hours gone? Hacker next. I'm off tomorrow to watch that Florida State-Oklahoma game. I will be back with you on Friday after the Gator Bowl right here in Jacksonville, and then again with you on Sunday at 8 a.m. to get the Jaguars pregame show started. Much more to do, however, tonight, along with Agent Gibbs. My name is Rick Boo. If you want to comment on anything you heard John Osher and I talk about, maybe something from the Philly Rooster, certainly there's a lot on here from Tim Brando, some Georgia fans not happy with what Timmy B had to say about Ohio State and how he thinks that they're going to pull off the upset coming up on Saturday night. Feel free to get us. Again, the best way always is on the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
At Hodges Mazda, your hometown Mazda dealer, we strive to ensure a satisfying and comfortable car buying experience. Lauren Brooks here. The sales staff doesn't work on commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. Hodges Mazda is located right up the road and has a large selection of new and used vehicles to choose from. Plus, every vehicle purchase comes with 2 years free maintenance. And even if you don't buy a vehicle from us, we will still buy your vehicle. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online during the Season of Inspiration sales event at HodgesMazda.com.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update.
College football, the 2 national semifinal games on Saturday. Number 2, Michigan, taking on number 3, TCU at the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona. Michigan is 7.5-point favorite, minus 315 on the money line. TCU plus 250. The over-under is at 58.5. The second one Saturday night will be number 1 Georgia against Ohio State, Peach Bowl in Atlanta. The Bulldogs number 1 at 13-0. They are the defending national champions and are 6.5-point favorites over the Buckeyes. Georgia minus 265. Ohio State Heat plus 215, and the over-under in Atlanta 62.5. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. I'm Tony Desiri on 1010XL, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sewer line cleaning is not something you should attempt on your own. Duck Duck Rooter's highly trained and experienced plumbers not only can effectively clean all your sewer drains, but we can check to ensure that no breaches have occurred, such as the infiltration of tree roots. Duck Duck Rooter will clear your line blockage for a special limited time only price of just $119. Some restrictions apply. Call to schedule your service. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic pain are getting real lasting relief with QC Kinetics. Leon Searcy here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine with locations right here in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. These unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restore damaged tissues, so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain? If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from any injury, don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids. And say no to pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing, all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this year. People are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as next year. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522 in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. This past year has taught us to value the important things: our health, our friends and family, cooking for ourselves, and logo polo shirts. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm former Pro Bowl offensive lineman Leon Searcy, inviting you to join me weekdays from noon to 1:30 for XL Primetime. Let's have lunch. Lunch with Leon is brought to you by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings on 1010 XL.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
This holiday season, unwrap a brand new Dreamfinders home. You'll enjoy everything that makes the holidays merry and bright with
family and friends in an expertly built, energy-efficient Dreamfinder's home. What could be better than calling one of St. Johns County's magnificent communities such as Shearwater, Beacon Lake, or Silverleaf home as 2022 comes to a close and an exciting new year begins. Plus, with an interest rate lock special from Dreamfinders Homes, the timing is perfect to be in a gorgeous move-in ready home. Happy holidays to all from Dreamfinders Homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars go to Houston on Sunday, but many are looking ahead to next week when the Jaguars host the rival Tennessee Titans for the AFC South crown and a spot in the playoffs. Knowing that next Sunday is for the AFC South title, would Doug Peterson consider resting his players this week against Houston?
Not at all. Full steam ahead. AFC South opponent. Again, team that beat us in Week 5, and just focused on putting a good week of preparation in.
Peterson, courtesy of Jaguars.com. Jaguars at Texans. Kickoff Sunday at 1 o'clock right here on 1010XL. I'm Andrew Gibson with your JOI Jaguars update.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Nothing like a little saxophone to send us into the weekend. The ladies love the sax. We need to find a speakeasy where we can find some gentleman wailing away on this. That's where it's at. I don't know if the Ville has... listen, I don't down talk Duval, but I don't know if the Ville has anything like that, right?
I'm trying to think.
Chicago did, that's for sure.
Is the Ragtime place still open? Maybe they had a...
Ragtime place. Man, I haven't been to Ragtime. That's been a while.
Yeah.
Out at Atlantic Beach. That was a place that I used to go to when I was here, when I was on the ball in the 90s. I can't remember the last time I was at Ragtime. It's been a little bit. I go to the Lemon Bar here and there, Pete's. But I'm more of, I'm more of a St. Augustine guy. If I'm going to go to the beach, that's where I go.
Oh, I love it.
St. Augustine. I actually live closer to St. Augustine than I do Atlantic Beach out there in Bartram. So that is that. John Osher mentioned in some numbers, 988 yards for Christian Kirk. So for the first time since 2019, Jackson was going to get a 3,000, 1,000, 1,000 on that particular year. Gardner Minshew, Leonard Fournette, and DJ Chark accomplished it. It's amazing to believe that in Jacksonville's existence, right, Jimmy Smith got 1,000-yard receiving seasons 9 times. Keenan McCardell 4 times. Then it's A-Rob, Allen Hurns, and DJ Chark once. So Christian Kirk, and I see that the writers voted him the Good Guy of the Year award. That was announced today. 988 yards. But Zay Jones and Evan Ingram, 778 and 723 respectively. Really impressive. 76 receptions for Kirk, 75 for Jones, and 68 for Evan Ingram. So that's important. And, for what it's worth, Doug Peterson's never had a 1,000-yard receiver outside of Zach Ertz in Philadelphia, who was a tight end. So you kind of have that on the line as well for Christian Kirk. The 3 free agents are all putting up big numbers right now when you look at Kirk and you look at Ingram, and certainly you do look at Zay Jones. All right, let me fund you this before I get out of here. There was a transaction made today by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeremiah Ledbetter, who played last week and I thought deserved a half sack. It went to Devon Hamilton. He has been added to the active roster. This comes on the heels. The Jaguars did make 2 transactions earlier in the week when they placed Cam Robinson and they placed DeJuan Smoot on the injured reserve. Also today, the Jaguars signed long snapper Garrison Sanborn, the former Florida State Seminole. He has appeared in 163 career games. The Bills, 2009 through 2016. Then he was with Tampa Bay for 32 games, 2017 and 18. 3 games with the 49ers in 2019. So he has not played a game since 2019. That 3 games in 2019, didn't play in 2020, 2021, or 2022. But apparently Garrison Sanborn has been staying in shape, and he has been snapping on the sideline. So he is back, and he is now on the Jaguars practice squad. The biggest story of the day, if you're joining us for the first time, well, Derek Carr benched, and certainly the Raiders are going to move him. But you could not believe, if you saw it, you would not believe the injury report for Tennessee and their matchup tomorrow night against Dallas. Mike Vrabel is absolutely, positively, totally waving the white flag. And he's resting them all. And, the big decision is going to be Derrick Henry with a hip. There's no way he's going to play. I mean, their top players are all out. And for Mike Vrabel in Tennessee, the message is simple. Get healthy. You now have an extra week. And, I was a little bit concerned about Tennessee getting the extra 3 days after playing tomorrow night, getting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to heal, or obviously the Jaguars play at 1 o'clock on Sunday. He's giving them the whole week. All of these players are going to be out. So Dallas is a huge favorite. At last look, they were 10. I would not be surprised at all if this particular line skyrockets in favor of the Cowboys. Just let me peek here real quick before the show comes to an end to see if there's been any line movement in the last hour or so. And no. Actually, yes, it's gone to 12, for crying out loud. So it just moved 2 points with this game being in Nashville tomorrow night. Mike Vrabel's message is pretty simple. He is getting everything set for that game here 1 week from Sunday. If you're joining us for the first time, it's the exact opposite with Doug Peterson. He is going to play his players. I have not gotten an injury report, and I was kind of hoping I would before we got off the air, but that is not the case right now. It is expected to be out really any moment. And, the big decision here is going to be with Trayvon Walker, who has missed a couple of games. For what it's worth, I would sit him out one more. I just would. And have him get ready for that must-win scenario against Tennessee and then a playoff game, which Jacksonville will host the week after. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hacker Nation is coming up right now. Let's see. We will be back on Friday, and that'll be right after the Gator Bowl on Friday, so make sure you join us then as well. Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to get things kicked off with the pregame show. So that'll be coming up on Sunday morning as well. That all starts at 8 o'clock. I do want to thank all of you. A ton coming in today on the text line. I don't check the text line now that the show is over. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way to do so is get me on Twitter. That is Baloo1010XL. Thank you to Brendan Sonome for joining us live from Orlando. Covers the Knowles for Knowles 24/7. Tim Brando of Fox Sports, the Philly Rooster, and moments ago, John Osher of Jaguars.com. Gibby, have yourself a great night. Talk with you soon. Thank you.
You too. Happy New Year, Rick.
All right. Happy New Year to you as well. Again, I'll talk with you Friday after the Gator Bowl and Sunday morning right here at 8 a.m. Jaguars football. I will talk with you then.